Ready?
Hey, Steve.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
How are you after almost 2.5 weeks?
Yeah. No, it's been a longer camp than normal. Something new, I think, for me, particularly with the club team. Reminds me of international football, and I worked with the national teams, being in a hotel for a long time. But I think it's been the right thing to do. I've heard about the weather back home, and I think coming away has definitely helped with the amount of training we've been able to do, and then obviously the access we all have to each other. There's so many other things you can do in terms of relationships, culture. So yeah, we've really tried to maximise the time, and it's so far so good in terms of benefiting the progress. Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit? Maybe divide the camp on you've been working on and when.
Yeah, so we've basically split the pre-season program into two areas. So the first 3 weeks is what we've called the preparation phase, where we've stripped everything back in how we behave, what we like as a team, what we like as a staff, and really gone through every aspect, as I said, of on and off the pitch. Some of it is reminders of what we've already introduced, and some of it's an introduction and a reintroduction to some of the demands, whether it be what we look like with the ball, look like without the ball, transition, the off-pitch performance, gym, really everything. And then when we get back to Bromby, obviously we're a couple of weeks then into the restarting the season. That's what we call the performance phase. So that's really honing in on the finer detail of preparing and putting demands on what we expect from the players when they play in the games, which really is then what it looks like once the season starts. So two phases, as I said, the preparation phase and the performance phase. We've done a lot of work. For example, going into the first game in La Manga, we did 9 sessions before the game, so the players were really tired, which was the plan. It's been a little bit less physically, still hard this week, but a bit more demands on sort of performance, because we have two good games. One we played yesterday and one on Monday. So yeah, we very much stuck to the plan. There's always bumps in the road. There's always adaptations you have to make. We didn't envisage the injuries that we've picked up, which has been unfortunate. Obviously, 1 or 2 more serious than other ones. We sort of thought, I know we have brought some players in, but we thought we might have had some more by now as well. But invariably we've stuck to the plan that we spent most of the off-season preparing for.
And being on camp like this, and what do you do besides training?
Well, like I said, we've done a lot of training. So there's sort of, I'd say 80% of the time being 2 sessions. Whether it's like your normal training or your second session is being in the gym or as being back on the grass. So everything's based around the training program. With that, you have to give the players rest and recovery time as well. For example, afternoons we've been doing our second session later on in the day. La Manga, we had floodlights, so we could use a floodlit pitch, which was really good. So the players would rest up. But there's been a lot of meetings. There's been a lot of unit meetings, individual meetings, team meetings, culture meetings. Like I said, we've really tried to maximise the time together.
Can you give an update on the squad with the injuries?
Yeah. Like I said, that's probably the bit that hasn't gone to plan in some areas. I think the serious injury and the most unfortunate injury was to Philip Bundergaard, where he's ruled out for most of the season, truth be told, through a high ankle sprain. Shaw has picked up a knee injury, which is going to hold him back as well. So he's not close to being with us. And then we've had a couple of niggles, really. P we thought was going to be a lot more serious than what it is. So he's hopefully going to return in the next couple of days, but he's missed 10 days of strong training, so that's unfortunate for him. Marco's been in and out. Villa has been a little bit in and out as well. So yeah, it's inevitable that you do pick up little sort of kicks or little fatigue injuries that you have to manage, but there's been one or two more than normal in terms of ruling players out for a longer period. So who has gained from that is the masterclass players. So it was always a good thing to bring the under-19s here. We took a lot with us anyway to La Manga. You've seen them feature in the games, but equally important, they've been featuring in the everyday program as well, and that's if you like a benefit of the unavailability of some of the more senior boys.
And since we spoke here in Denmark before leaving, two Lucas has been signed. Two players that you know very well. So first of all, can you tell us a little bit about Emmanuel Dennis and what you expect from him?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Dennis, I work with. There's no secret. I work with him at Forest, so I know the player. Yeah. That's not. It's nothing to do with your questions, I hope. But sounds like a warning. Maybe there's a storm coming. We got one last night. Yeah, Dennis is. Yes, I know him, but as I've said before, there's no players that will join, new players that everybody hasn't been part of the process and bringing them in, whether it be ownership, recruitment, coaching. It helps when you do know a player. But initially I was surprised about his availability. We took that option. He's really bought into the club and the culture. I know he hasn't spent much time in Copenhagen, but he quickly saw what the lads are trying to do, what we're trying to do, and sort of made it known to me that this is something he was really interested in quickly. And we've been happy to for the club to agree a deal. Still waiting for the work permit to come through, which hopefully will be sooner rather than later. But that's positive. Ben I've not met before until recruitment made his availability to us. But the first time I've met him has been through the recruitment process of bringing him in. Once it was agreed that from the club that we thought we could pursue, it's been good to build a relationship with him, and he's really excited to join. I'm not sure if you spoke to him yourself. I think you will do in the next day or two, and you'll learn a lot about why he wants to be here. So once I heard that, because there's no doubt in the player, he can play more or less any position in the back four. Once we knew his availability, is something that we wanted to pursue. But I think I've said to you before, we're not going to bring any player here just because they're a good player. We want to bring good players here that want to be here as well, and Ben has shown that appetite to come and play for Brøndby, and it's a good thing now he's here.
When I look at the signings, Bartosz and
South, Usman.
Is both players like on the right.
Yeah.
And Dennis and Ben is both players like captain playing on really high level.
Yeah.
Maybe needs to get back up. Yeah. What's the balance in when you bring players in? Like what type of players they in? And looking at what role are they gonna fill in?
Yeah. Well, I think the answer really is in the question, Anna. It's balance. So I agree with all of what you said in terms of age and stage of players' careers, but we've also got young players in the group. I know we've lost one recently, but when I think about where Ambek is, when I think about where P is, and even one or two of the guys have really stepped up from the masterclass, so I'm pretty sure we'll stay in and around the squad, and you'll see a lot more of in the coming weeks and months. I think it's important that we have a real balance of sticking to the club's values and principles of a good cohort of Danish players, masterclass players, but also a team that can win. Because I see the demands, I see the pressure, which I like around the club, and the expectation of us being a team that competes at the top end of the league, and not just this year, but in years to come. So in the end, what we're trying to do is put a team together that can sort of regularly compete for trophies. And I think to do that, you need a real, as you said, balance, a real mixture of everything, whether it's players that have been on a big stage before but are still hungry and motivated to do well, whether it's guys who are on the up, and also guys that have come through our own academy masterclass system as well, and that's what we're trying to do.
It's generally many fans that in Brøndby have been discussing like again, the balance
Yeah.
between the Danish,
Yeah.
not only players, but was there also many foreign coaches now,
Yeah.
a German scouting director and technical director,
Yeah.
American owners. So, there's been a lot of changes.
Yeah,
But
I understand that.
That's something the fans are discussing.
Mm.
Can you give a little bit your opinion on the matter? Also because what we're discussing is we can also see that it's for not only for Grønby, but also for Copenhagen, very expensive to buy Danish.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Danish clubs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how important is the masterclass in this? And
Yeah.
that was a very long question.
No, and I get it, and I think a lot of the answers are in the question as well, which is what you said. So first and foremost, I think it's very important for me that I say that I understand the values. I've already said, we want and need Danish players in the league because of the Superliga experiences as well. Because every league is unique and has its own different ways. And you only gain that know-how by being in the league. So we need that. We need that intel. We need Valles. We need Vas. We need these guys, even if they're playing or not playing. We need that sort of in and around the squad. And I know how important the masterclass is. And I like the fact that not only have we given some guys, good experience and playing time, we've given some debuts, and we want to continue that. But I also know that we want to be able to do that, plus be a competitive team that can, as I said, really seriously compete for titles. And it's hard to sign Danish players. I've learned that they're at a premium, and I understand that it's a competitive advantage selling from one team to a team in your own league. It's not.
It's like the English players in England. We also saw that they're very expensive.
I think, if I'm being honest, I know I come from there. I think that bridge maybe was crossed a while ago, where the English league is a worldwide league now, and even with coaches as well, and all of the staff and owners. So I think that bridge maybe was crossed a long time ago. There's not really a discussion point; it's just accepted. But I think what you said about there's a lot of variety now you mentioned the other clubs as well. I think that's a real positive sign of how strong this league is. I've said straight away it's an underrated league. It's a tough league, and it's an exciting league. And I think it's gradually becoming sort of well known around Europe that this is a real competitive league to be part of. And I think that's why there's such a lot of interest, not just sort of locally and regionally, but also outside of the country as well. So I think that's a positive thing. But I also know that it's really important that we keep the Danish culture, and it plays a huge part in not just what we're trying to do, but what the league is trying to do as well.
Sorry. So masterclass is important, and I want to speak to you about young players and developing young players. Because when you look at young players, you've been praised a lot about former players that you're very good with young players. But what do you look for? Like when you see many young players.
Yeah.
What is it that you look for?
Well, in the end, I think, and you would have heard me said this lots of times, even before I came here, players develop themselves. So it's not about coaches' development. If anything, coaches can get in the way and mess it up. So players develop themselves. I think for me, it's a sort of holistic player that you're looking for. So of course, the player has to have talent. He needs to have athleticism now of a certain type to play at the top level. But they need to have the attitude and the mentality to be able to handle the next step, whatever that may be. Training with the senior team, making your debut, starting your first game, playing 3 games in succession, losing a game, winning a couple of games and getting a lot of, like Ambek, for example. And I always say I don't mind talking about Ambek because I see his mentality every single day. He, I would imagine, has had a lot of change in his life over the last sort of 6 months, and you have to handle that, and that's what you're looking for always in a player. So it's natural to me and I find it really satisfying to see young players being given opportunity and to support them in that process. But I also like it when young players take opportunities, and not all will. not all will, but when they do, it's a beautiful thing. And I personally think that any successful team that I've worked with has had young, hungry players part of it, trying and excelling to get to the next level. And I really believe we have that here.
What do you think about the levels of it? Yeah, the youth, the departments from here, cold.
Yeah.
Those you can in the league.
It's kept cold, isn't it?
It looks weird.
Yeah. They can't see you. I can see you. Yeah. I can't swear. Go on.
Okay.
Yeah. The level. Yeah, I think good. I mean, very technical. What I would say about every young player that has come and trained with the senior team, and I don't think there's a session gone by where we haven't had at least 2 masterclass players with us, sometimes a lot more, where I've not been impressed by first of all, their attitude in terms of their engagement and wanting to really be part of the session, but also their technical and tactical level as well. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about other clubs, and I'm no expert on youth football in Denmark. Yeah, I can talk about Brøndby and the players that have stepped up. It's been impressive, I have to say, and they've really added to the sessions. I've done my very best to watch as many youth games as possible, which has not been at times too often because of schedule, and I've really enjoyed watching the games. I think that we play with a good style. I think we play with a good idea, and I think we play in a good way that will promote the players that when they come with the first team, that they'll be ready to adapt, and it won't be too much of a change. Always the biggest change is the tempo, is the intensity, is probably the environment. But for example, Vigo and Ali have been done every day with us, and you can just see that they're growing in the environment. And when they step on the pitch and bigger training exercises, they really look like they're thriving in the moment. So no, I've been really impressed. What we've got to do is keep creating hope for Masterclass, and the best way of creating hope is by giving opportunity.
A lot of things have happened already. You talked about that, so I'm more interested in, there's a week left, more or less.
Yeah.
The transfer window. What do you expect in the last two?
I think activity. I think is the first one.
I should not go on holiday now.
Depends on whether you want to be busy or not. So I think what we sort of talked about is trying to adapt to the calendar of the league, and this is the biggest break and the biggest pre-season that we get. So we've tried to recognise that and to say it's a good time to bring players in terms of doing these trips and getting them in an environment where they can understand the club, they can understand the teammates, understand the staff, understand how we work, make a load of mistakes, do some good things, and I think that's a positive thing. So I think it makes sense to me that the more, if we're looking to make signings, that the more we can do it within the plan in January is a positive thing. So that's why we're trying to be as active as we can. And naturally, there's always players that you're looking, or positions that you're looking to strengthen. We need to replace that part of our game in terms of the top end of the midfield and the attacking midfield position. So that's a real primary focus for us now. I think we have to respond to Philip's injury as well. And
so that's a different thing.
Yeah. So one, because obviously Noah's sold, and one because of a long-term injury.
So there's something in
having to adapt to, really.
And also the depth.
100%, yeah. We want to. If you have a strong start lineup and a strong bench, it means that you have a strong culture and a competitive environment every single day. And I want to be in a position where we're making tough decisions for every game, so I can look at the starting team and think the players that are in that team have worked hard to earn the right to start a game for Brøndby, and also players who are sitting on the bench are hungry and ready to go. And if we're making changes, one, we're not making changes that the level drops too much, and two, we have good variety as well in terms of strength and depth. So I think that's a positive thing. And I think if you look at our competition, I think they will have that as well. So we're not doing anything unique here. We're just doing something about putting a strong squad together that can compete against the other guys in and around the top. And we give ourselves the best chances, like I said, of winning, but winning our way.
The history of this club. Also, recent years we had a history, unfortunately, of going out the and I know it's big objective for alle klubber basically to base this league base on. But and I see also this transfer window maybe a little bit as a collaboration for that.
Well, I think, like I said before, I think is because this is the biggest window of the Danish league, the Superliga domestic calendar. So to me and the club, it makes sense that if you can do business, then it's you have time, to integrate players. So I think that's the first thing, and the second thing about playing European football is we do want to be competing for these things. There's no doubt about that. That's why I came. That's why players are coming. That's what supporters want. That's what everybody wants, is to really be competing for titles. And if you do it well, you give yourself a chance of playing European football. So I'm not saying everything that we're doing now in this period is about that, but it's about trying to build a strong team and squad that can represent the club and the values and principles, but also compete at the top end of competitions to try and win. And if you win, you get European competitions, but that's one step at a time.